Hi guys, um, back here with another video on that subject, UP versus Southern Michigan deer, and I'm going to interview Steve here. Steve's a fellow hunter who's hunted both areas, so I'm going to ask him a few questions. Steve, when did you start hunting?
I didn't start until I was in my 20s.
Wow.
I started working. Started my second teaching job at Algonac Middle School at that time, and Algonac has a lot of hunters in that town, and we got some friends that were really into it, and he got me into it. I started with rabbit hunting and
Small game.
small game. Yep.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Now you're a big fisherman though. You've been fishing a lot.
Yeah.
Before
I've
you
fished
deer
my
hunted.
whole life.
Or before you started hunting, you were fishing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So now you've hunted 3 different areas basically in the Upper Peninsula. Am I correct?
yeah. Yep.
Okay. You are now currently at a camp that is in the heart of a ton of snow.
Oh yeah.
You get a
Yeah,
lot of snow. You're up by Michigan, am I
Just
correct?
south of the Yellow Dog Plains. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say is worse for the deer in your area, the UP winters or the wolves?
Definitely the winters.
The
in
winters.
that area for
Okay.
sure. Yeah. When we did have a period of time and they where they had just logged the area, and logging really tends, because you get all that undergrowth that comes up, really tends to bring in the deer. So they have browse and cover. We were seeing like progressively more and more deer every year, and then but with that also we saw more wolves as well. And then we had like 3 really bad winters in a row with really late springs, and the deer just disappeared out of the area. Now they disappear there every year because they migrate out.
Mm-hmm. They
But-
do that. I think that, like at my place too, they migrate south to the deer yards and
Yeah.
where there's more cedars and stuff.
But yeah, there was a period of time there where we didn't see any deer sign. On our trail cameras, we might get one picture.
You get
Of
more. You get a lot of moose pictures.
We get more. Yeah, we do have a ton of moose up there. Right? If they ever open that season, we got the place.
Now you also hunted on the west end of the south. Was it the southwest area?
Yeah, in
Iron River or
in Iron Mountain.
Iron Mountain.
Yeah.
You started out hunting there.
Yeah, that's where my friend from a fellow teacher started bringing me up to the UP. That was really my introduction to the UP. It was
His camp.
Iron Mountain was his camp, yeah.
And then you.
And he's got a ton of deer. There's a lot of deer over there.
Okay. And then you've hunted at my place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've also stayed there once when you got snowed in up there.
Yeah.
At your place.
Yeah, we
you had
did
to,
get.
You had to come back and stay at my camp because you couldn't get in.
Yeah, one of the I think
Was
it
that
was. I think it was.
2014?
I
Wasn't
think
it?
it was just ahead of those bad winters, or it may have been just after those bad winters.
Well, we got all
There
that
was-
snow
There
before
was 3 feet of fresh snow the day, like 2 days before opening day.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah, and our driveway up there is 3 miles long.
Wow.
So nobody had snowshoes in the area. All our snowshoes are hanging up on the wall in the cabin.
Yep.
So yeah, we were able to get in the gate. It was plowed a little bit. There was a new owner in the area that had some land around there, so we had about the first couple of 100 yards of the gate inside the gate plowed. But then after that, we hoofed it in 3 miles through 3 feet of snow,
Wow.
so we could winterize the cabin.
Wow. Now, you're up there, you obviously have, what, 200 acres of private land? that
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys-
but it's surrounded by
Paper.
thousands of acres of
But for all the years you've hunted in the UP, whether it be at that other camp, my camp, or the camp you're presently at, you've yet to come across another hunter. Or have you?
oh, I have at our current place, not deer hunting, but like during when we were bear hunting. Um, we've had guys that walk down that logging road, which is our driveway, to do a grouse hunting.
Okay.
So I have come across a few grouse hunters
But you
during
yeah.
bear season, but never during
Yeah.
deer. Mm-mm.
Now, what would you say? What would would you say the deer from down south, southern Michigan versus the UP deer? Now, would they taste different up there, or they taste different down here, or is it all on how you handle it from after the shot?
Yeah,
What would you say?
I've had deer that taste fantastic. I've never had a bad one from the UP. It's never tasted odd to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more about how it's handled in the field and
Processed
processed, right?
and hung in the right temperature.
Right. Yeah. Actually, some of the best deer I had last year was from the UP. Some of the best deer I've ever had.
Now, hunting, what would your biggest concern or your biggest beef be hunting southern Michigan?
It's just getting access to good hunting area. And I know we do have public land available here. I have some right across the street, Algonac State Park. But it's not very big, and I don't want to step on toes,
Yep.
you know? Guys have been in there hunting for decades, and they have their spots. I know it's public land, and technically it would not be wrong for me to just go out and
But
kind of
you, yeah,
intrude
you
on
would-
their areas, but I wouldn't want that done to me. I don't want
Happen
to
to
do
you.
that to them.
yeah. My experience down here hunting that same area you're talking about, I had guys hunting in there with no hunter's orange, no flashlights in the morning. That was the last year I hunted off Roberts Road. I got in there early in the morning, and next thing I know, it's daylight, and I didn't see no flashlights coming in, and I was the only car out there. And I get in, and next thing you know, it's daylight, and I'm surrounded by 10, 12 guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and we're all looking at each other, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, this ain't right. And I walk out, and there's all these vehicles sitting there, and I that, and like you said, the access to land down here. Unless you have a lot of money, you're not going to be able to hunt.
Right.
You know, state land where I hunt state land and paper company land where I'm at. I don't have a lot of acres, but you can just walk out and go. And there's so much land, you're not gonna. I have yet in 35 years or more have yet to see a hunter up in my area.
Right. But I know you've had maybe not interactions while you're hunting, but you've had interactions with other hunters
Oh yeah,
messing with your stuff.
deer getting stolen from the buck pole. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Where we are, yeah, we don't see anybody. 'Cause we're miles behind a log gate, and there's nothing near us, which
So
is awesome. But
nobody pushing the deer.
there's nobody pushing deer, and those deer have thousands and thousands
Of
of acres
acres.
to roam. I mean, you really gotta do your homework to
Yeah.
find the places where they're going.
Now, what would be your suggestion to somebody that come to you and never hunted deer in the UP? What would you tell them the first thing they should do?
Probably download Onyx Hunt.
Yeah, we both have Onyx on our phones, and it's probably the best hunting tool we both have invested in.
Because if you are unfamiliar with your territory, you can easily get lost.
Yeah.
And you might walk, pick a direction and walk. Like, I could pick I could go north and walk. Oh God, I don't know.
All the way to
I
Lake
don't know.
Superior.
Well, yeah, I'd come across. I might come across one road between there and Lake Superior, a couple of roads, but they're quite a ways away.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the McCormick Wilderness just to the north of us. Yeah, there's. You
Yeah.
could walk a long time
Yeah,
and not come across anything.
yeah. I think both of our advices would be to somebody that wanted to hunt the UP would be to either download Onyx or go on Google Earth or you know, and don't just go up there 2 days before opening day. You need to scout.
Like I said, yeah, you do need.
You need to scout.
You need to figure out. Otherwise, you're gonna sit down and see nothing.
Yeah, you need to, find an area, and that's another reason why I hunt up there is because I've almost 35 years or more. I know the area like the back of my hand, but I could still get lost. On the other hand, I've got so much time and effort and money invested. I don't want to hunt anywhere else but up there.
Right.
And it's totally different than, like you said, it's not crowded.
Yeah.
And yeah, the deer herds are down, but there are deer there.
Yeah, we're starting to see deer come back now into our area. We did, one of our hunting partners up there did see deer every day. And he just set up a new blind this year, his new area. But he had a spike coming back every day, and a doe and a couple of fawns coming back every day. But
Now, what is your opinion on?
But with the deer coming back, also we have wolves back as well. My brother-in-law got cornered coming back after bear hunting this year.
Okay,
I remember. Run out on the ATV and come get him because he was surrounded.
Now, what is your opinion on UP's antler point restrictions? And before we go any further, the UP, if you buy a combo tag, you got to have 3 points.
3 points on one side.
On one side for your first buck. Your second one has to have 4, like the whole rest of the state. But the first one has to have 3 on one side.
Well, because we don't have a lot of deer up there right now, I'm all right with it. If you do want to shoot a smaller buck, a spike, then just get the regular tag. You can still do that, but you just can't do it with the combo.
Mm-hmm. I know there's.
And I know, like, our area, shooting does has never been allowed.
And that just came back in my area. But
because there's not a whole bunch of deer there.
I don't think you could, in your area, I don't think you could, back in the day, even with a bow and arrow, I don't think you could shoot does. Could you?
I think you could take a doe with a bow.
Because I know in our area...
I'm not 100% on that, but...
Yeah, our area, I don't think you could, back in the day, take a doe with a bow. I could be wrong on that. But I haven't bow hunted up there in probably 10, 12 years now. I haven't bow hunted in a long time, which I want to get back into it. But the antler point restrictions, there's pros and cons, in just my opinion on it. I don't think you should. What I'm trying to get at is I don't think the government should have a say in what you shoot, what you don't shoot. And there we go. I don't want to get into politics, but that's just my opinion. You wait all year to go deer hunting, and you gotta.
Yeah, well, down here now.
It's still.
Oh my God, no! You can take.
Oh, I know.
Does you can take all does if you wanted.
And I don't think
with your 2 buck tags.
I don't think there's as many deer down in southern Michigan as they say there is. I do a lot of traveling for work, and I don't see the deer like I used to.
No?
No. Just like the turkeys. I don't know where the turkeys up and went.
I haven't seen any super big
flocks of them but you used to see them. But as far as deer, I mean, in all these farm fields you go by, you don't see them like you used to see them all the time. I mean, there's some there, but not like before. And I just think they're handing out too many doe permits. Like down in the southern Michigan, you can buy up to 10 permits.
Yeah, I'd say, how many can you get now?
And it's universal.
What is the number of deer you can take now?
Well,
is it like 11?
Well, you can take 10. You can take 10 does, I believe, with doe tags, and then you got your if you get by the combo tag, you can kill 2 bucks. So you're looking at 12, 13 deer you can kill. Now, they had that doe hunt up where I was, you had to have a universal tag. Okay, there's no units anymore. It's all universal. However, I had to have an access permit to go with that doe permit to kill a doe in the UP. Now, I've said this in previous videos, and I don't want to get off track, but no one, license agency, knew what an access permit was. And nobody down here, I don't even try anymore because and I blame that on the DNR for not showing these people how to do that stuff. But anyway, the lady at the, well, we don't know, they don't have, and she just went on and on and on. Finally, I found somebody who knew what I was talking about. But that didn't make sense. You had to have an access, you didn't have to pay for it, but you had to pay $5 to apply in order to shoot a doe in my area. And you had to have 2 tags to transport it. And I talked to the DNR guy up there. I was told I was having trouble. He said, well, just go ahead and shoot it. Don't worry about it. And he says, if you have any problems, get with me before you take it home. But I finally got the access permit. But I just think that was a waste of paper. What did it prove?
Right.
So anyway,
Lots of hoop jumping.
yeah. Would you still hunt the UP if your family still didn't have a camp up there? And when I say Steve and I are related, but his other side of the family has the camp up by Michigami. But when I say,
You mean if I had to stay in a hotel?
yeah, would you still go up, or what would you still
Or-
hunt the UP if you didn't have a
Or
place?
actually camp? If I had a bunch of buddies to do it with,
Mhm.
yeah.
Because you don't want to hunt the UP by yourself.
No.
No, because that's some rugged terrain up there, and even when I'm up there by myself,
The first deer I shot,
you were by
I
yourself.
was by myself and had to drag it back.
But I always
I don't know,
even
400 or
note.
500
I always
yards.
even note on the table where I'm hunting in case I don't come back for a couple of days. They know where to look for me. But like you said, download the Onyx map. And by the way, that's not a sponsor of this channel. It's just a nice hunting tool that we use.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And I'm not saying you can't get lost, but once you learn how to use it, it's a godsend. It's a nice hunting tool to have in your arsenal, is the Onyx map. And you don't need phone service for it to work up
Right,
there.
yeah, you can download.
That's a big thing.
If you know where you're going, you can download the map ahead of time.
Yep.
Have it on your phone.
And put it in airplane mode once you get there, and it works fine.
Yeah.
And it details everything: roads, swamps, rivers, everything.
Yeah, you can see it right on the satellite image, which is nice.
So
And then also, even for down here, the Onyx is useful because
Mhm.
you get to see all the private land.
yeah, even up there.
And actually, you get who they are and get a phone number if you
Yep.
have to call somebody.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, anyways, your overall opinion on how the deer are being managed in this state, what would you think?
I don't like seeing them basically opening up the numbers that they are. The of deer you can shoot down here. I would like to see more deer.
I personally think it's all it is a money game.
Well, I would imagine their reasons because the chronic wasting disease
Mm-hmm.
fears. I think a better way to go if you wanted to, if you wanted to grow bigger bucks, I think like some of the other states. Actually, I was just down visiting my brother in Virginia, and he wants to get into hunting.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Andrew does.
Yep.
Good deal.
Uh,
Now we got an out-of-state place
I know.
to go.
Out of state licenses though are
Oh,
big
yeah.
money. But theirs is similar to, I believe Wisconsin had something like this before, where you had to shoot a doe
In order
before
to
you
kill
got
them.
the buck.
I think Wisconsin was like that.
And
I don't know.
that's the
Carl,
way
if you
that
hear
is.
this or see this, Carl, let me know. You're the Wisconsin guy.
Yeah.
Let us know how that was if you had to kill a doe before you shot a buck.
But that's their And actually, they have urban hunting rules also
Oh.
in Virginia, which is pretty cool. But you know, you always run into anti-hunters, which
Oh, yeah.
will always be an issue. But yeah, each buck there, you had to get at least in that county where he lives, you had to shoot a doe before you were able to shoot a buck.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
but I think that would achieve the same results. But not all deer grow antlers great. I mean,
No.
antler size really is
generic.
I would imagine there's somewhat that you're somewhat able to tell the age of a deer given the size of its antlers, but it's not necessarily true.
See, my thing is with the antler point restrictions is you got to sit there and count points before you shoot.
Yeah.
You know, you may see a nice one come in, but it might not. It might be only 2.5 on one side, and you know.
Yeah.
And that to me is what I don't like is you got to sit there and judge. Does it have 3 or does it have this? And
Yeah,
know.
the last deer I shot at the UP, I thought was a 8-point at first.
Yeah, I remember you texting
Ended
me.
up having no brow tines, so no brow tines on them. And I had seen this. God, it must have been this deer's brother on my camera, my trail cam. It was exactly the same. And going back and taking a look at him, these deer had exactly the same racks, but this guy had no brow tines, and he had one tine that had been broken off.
Wow.
So he had 3 on one side, 2 on the other. Still a decent buck.
But that was before the rules, wasn't it?
That was
Before the
after the rules.
Oh,
That was
okay.
during the antler restriction rules.
Okay. Because they just started that here a few years back. It hasn't always been like that up there. But I do remember back in the day, you could kill 4 bucks. Before you started hunting.
Yeah, it definitely was before.
Back in the early 90s, you could kill 2 bucks with a bow and 2 bucks with a gun.
Wow.
And back in them days, you bought a bow license and you bought a gun license. It wasn't all one license back in the day. It was for a couple of years there, you could actually kill 4 bucks in Michigan. I mean, I have a hard enough time trying to kill 1, let alone 4. But yeah, it did happen. So, all right. Well, that's going to conclude this part of it. I have a couple more guys that I want to interview. Just thought I'd do something different. Hunting right now, there's no hunting going on right now except turkey hunting. I may not be able to get out turkey hunting, but I have a couple more gentlemen I want to interview for this little mini series that I started to do. That's going to be all for today. Thanks. There's going to be a little clip here coming up. I'm going to put in here at the end that my sister-in-law sent me from the UP. Hope you enjoy it. Have a nice day and happy Easter.